Hello, and this is, I don't know why I said it like that. This is chapter 3, What a Mess, of the Hello Kitty, the Cupcake mystery. When Hello Kitty woke up the next morning, she didn't know whether to be relieved or disappointed that nothing else strange had happened in the night. Breakfast was very normal, no food went missing from their plates. Sausages and eggs and baking, yum. No glasses or bowls fell over. Minnie had seemed to have forgotten about the unusual events from the night before. She chatted happily as she helped Hello Kitty pack 8 pretty cupcakes into a pink tin with a silver heart on top. She hoped dear Daniel's granny was going to like the cupcakes. It would be nice to cheer her up. She must be missing her dog a lot. Mama drove them there. Dear Daniel was just arriving with his dad when they got to his granny's house. Hello Kitty was longing to tell him about the mystery, but she decided to wait until later. He was coming back to their house after their visit, so she could tell him then. Dear Daniel's granny was very pleased to see them, and she loved the cupcakes. She made some cups of teas for the grown-ups and poured some apple juice out for dear Daniel. Minnie and Hello Kitty, she could only walk very slowly, so Hello Kitty, Minnie and dear Daniel helped her carry everything and gave the drinks out. Hello Kitty saw a photo of the dog on the mantelpiece. She went over and looked at it. Dear Daniel's granny saw her and smiled sadly. She told Hello Kitty she really missed him, but at least she would be able to visit him in his new home, and she just wasn't able to walk well enough to exercise a dog. She sighed, and Hello Kitty felt very sorry. She wished there was something they could do. They spent the morning there, and then Mama dropped Minnie off at her friend's Alice's house. Before heading home, as Mama parked the car, Hello Kitty and dear Daniel jumped out. Hello Kitty whispered to him that she had something exciting to tell him. Dear Daniel wanted to know what it was straight away, but she giggled that he would just have to wait until they got inside. Mama opened the front door and they ran in. But then they stopped in surprise. They could see in the kitchen from the hallway, and there were things all over the floor. It hadn't been that messy. When they had gone out, they went to the doorway. The big plate that had been on the kitchen table with the leftover breakfast sausage was now on the floor. In pieces, and 3 glasses had been knocked over and were broken too. A bag of Mama's jewellery making supplies were upside down on the floor. Beads and threads were spilling out all over the place. The morning newspaper had been pushed off the sideboard, and the vase by the window was knocked over again. What a mess! Hello Kitty turned to Mama. What could have happened? Mama looked worried. A burglar must have broken in, she told Hello Kitty. And dear Daniel to come outside and not touch anything. She would have to call Papa and phone the police. Papa quickly came home and 2 friendly peace officers arrived, a man and a woman. They looked through the house, but it was very strange. The burglar hadn't gone into any room apart from the kitchen, and the only things missing were the leftover sausages from breakfast. Just then, Hello Kitty remembered that her homework book had been on the kitchen table, and it was gone too. But why would a burglar just steal sausages and a homework book? There were even still coins on the sideboard. Nothing else had been taken at all. The policewoman said it was very odd. The burglar must have got in through the open kitchen window. Although it was very small, so the burglar must have been small too. Hello Kitty told the police about how she and Minnie found the vase knocked over the night before, and also about how their picnic had disappeared. The police had made a note of everything Hello Kitty said and told Mama and Papa to be sure to let them know if anything else happened. It was very strange. When the police left, Hello Kitty and Dear Daniel went upstairs. Now that Dear Daniel had heard everything, he wanted to solve the mystery too. He said they should ring Fifi and Tammy and tell them to come round too. Hello Kitty knew they were both busy that day. Tammy was decorating her bedroom and Fifi had ice skating practice. But Dear Daniel said they had just had to call them and tell them. They would really want to know. He was right. As soon as Fifi and Tammy heard what had happened, they both said they would change their plans for the afternoon. They wanted to see if they could help solve the mystery. Hello Kitty asked Mama if they could come over, and luckily Mama said that it was fine. As Hello Kitty and Dear Daniel got some biscuits and juice out, Hello Kitty had a brilliant idea. Instead of this being just a friendship club meeting, they could rename it a special meeting of the Friendship Club Mystery Solvers. Dear Daniel loved that idea, so what did he and Hello Kitty need to get out? They got out notepads, pencils, a magnifying glass, a camera for photographing clues. There, they were all ready. Now they just needed the other mystery solvers to arrive. Chapter 4. A Mystery Solvers. Tammy and Fifi were very excited when they arrived, and they heard about the mystery solving club. They all sat down in Hello Kitty's bedroom, and Hello Kitty told them everything that had happened, starting with the picnic going missing. They all agreed it was very puzzling. Hello Kitty suggested they make some notes. What did they know about the thief? Everyone called things out, and she wrote them all down in a list. The thief likes sausages and cupcakes, likes homework books, is small enough to fit through the kitchen window. They didn't feel very close to solving the mystery. What sort of thief stole homework books? Maybe they should go and look for clues. Dear Daniel declared they should look for strange footprints outside. The thief might have stood in some sort of soft mud or soil outside, and they would be able to take a photograph of the footprint and show it to the police. He had read mystery stories where clues like that had helped catch a burglar. Fifi agreed and put in the also they should look more closely at the kitchen window to see if they could find any clues. There, maybe the thief had torn through their clothes as they had climbed in. Hello Kitty felt a tingle of excitement run through her. This was super. Maybe they really could solve the mystery on their own. They all hurried downstairs to search the garden for footprints first. After a minute, Tammy squealed. She had found a footprint in one of the flower beds. They had all raced over. There was a footprint in the dirt beside a rose bush. How exciting. Was that? It was really quite small though. Hello Kitty looked at her own shoes. It was only about the size of her feet. The thief must be a child. Dear Daniel looked at the footprint, then looked at Hello Kitty's feet. He smiled as he asked Hello Kitty to take off her shoes. She was surprised, but she did as he asked. And then he held it upside down and and showed the other that the footprint matched the bottom of Hello Kitty's shoe perfectly. It wasn't the thief's footprint, it was Hello Kitty's. She must have made it yesterday when she had been playing in the garden with Minnie. The mystery solvers couldn't help giggling. But they were very disappointed still. Maybe there were some other footprints. They looked all around, but the only other prints they found matched Papa's boots or Minnie's and Hello Kitty's shoes. Oh well. They decided it was time to have a look at the window. There was nothing strange there, though. It just looked like it usually did. They were about to turn away when Tammy's sharp eyes noticed something. Look. Caught in the wood right by the couch, there were two small black hairs. Tammy pulled them out and they looked at them. Through the magnifying glass, they were about 2 centimeters long. Everyone looked at each other in excitement. No one in Hello Kitty's house had hair like that. Maybe this was one of. Let me repeat that. Maybe this was a clue, a real clue. Dear Daniel photographed them, and Hello Kitty started a new page of her notebook with the heading clues underneath. The heading she wrote, Clues, 2 black hairs. Now the mystery solvers knew something else about the thief. They had black hair. But how could they find out anything more? Ooh, Tammy had a fantastic idea. They should interview Hello Kitty's neighbours and see if they had seen anything suspicious. They might have noticed someone hanging around, someone small with black hair. It might give them more clues. Oh yes, Hello Kitty liked that idea. They should do that straight away. They went next door and spoke to the man who lived there. He shook his head. He was sorry, but he hadn't seen anything suspicious, and the neighbours on the other side were away. They'd been on holiday for a whole week, so they couldn't have seen anything. Oh dear. They went back to Hello Kitty's bedroom and sat down on the floor. What could they do now? Everyone scratched their heads and looked at each other. They were all out of ideas. Hello Kitty was about to suggest they search the garden again when suddenly, crash, a noise from downstairs. What on earth could it be? The final chapter. Chapter 5, Caught. Hello Kitty and her friends raced downstairs as quietly as they could. They stopped in the hall at the bottom of the staircase and crept towards the kitchen, with their hearts beating fast. What if it was the burglar? Hello Kitty saw the gap between the door and the wall and couldn't resist having a peek. She held her breath. What was she going to see? A cat. I thought it was a fox. There was a black cat in the kitchen. Hello Kitty quickly pushed the door open and everyone huddled up to see. The cat froze as it saw them. Turning tail, it raced across the flat, jumped onto the top of the window ledge, and leapt past and knocked over the vase and escaped through the window. They all ran to look outside and were just in time to see the cat streak across the lawn and jump into the garden shed. Through the broken window, Hello Kitty grasped. The cat must be the thief. They should tell Mama and Papa straight away. They ran to the lounge and told Mama and Papa what they had seen. They were very surprised. A cat had caused all this trouble. Mama and Papa laughed. A cat was better than a burglar any day. They all went outside to the garden shed. Papa quietly opened the door, and there, nestled among the old clothes and newspapers, was a black cat covered up with her 2 black and white kittens. Kittens had big eyes, fluffy coats, and short, stubbly tails. The mother cat was skinny and looked slightly frightened. Mama crouched down and slowly mumbled encouragingly, and the black cat paddled over and nuzzled her head against Mama's hand. The thief had just been a stray cat. No wonder she'd been able to get in through the small kitchen window. And the only thing she had been interested in was food. She must have been trying to feed herself and her kittens. But what about Hello Kitty's homework book? Dear Daniel pointed out. Where had that gone? Papa White looked rather red-faced as he spotted something pulled it out from the pile of recycled papers and magazines that the cats were lying on. It was a blue homework book. Maybe he had been a bit too keen on recycling. He must have brought it out with all the rest of the old papers. Hello Kitty just hadn't noticed it was missing until they came home and thought they had been burgled. They all laughed, and Hello Kitty told Papa not to worry. She was just happy that the mystery had been solved. Hello Kitty had stroked the black cat, who was now purring loudly. She seemed very friendly. Fifi knelt down and pat her too, and wondered aloud if she had an owner. She didn't have a collar. She didn't have a collar on, but Mama suggested that if they took her to the vet's in the morning, then the vet would be able to check if she had a microchip. If she did, they should be able to find the owner's phone number. But what would they do with her until then? Oh, Hello Kitty jumped up in excitement. They should make the shed a perfect little home for the mother cat and her kittens. And so the Friendship Club Mystery Solvers became the Pet Carers Club. Instead, they fetched the cat some milk and water as well as some mice from the fridge. Mints from the fridge. They cuddled and stroked the kittens and played with them. They even found some old balls of string for them to pounce and chase. Mama thought the kittens looked about 8 weeks old and just about ready to leave their mum and go to new homes. When Minnie came home from Alice's house, she was astonished to see her cats and kittens there, but was soon as excited as the others to have them play with. She joined in with the others, rolling the balls of string and stroking them. They had all hoped the mother cat would have a microchip so she could help get her back to her home. Fifi declared that she thought the Friendship Club had got a great job. They'd solved the mystery and found the thief. Hello Kitty grinned and agreed as she said a big thank you to all her friends for dropping everything they were doing to come and help that afternoon. She was so grateful and so lucky to have such great friends. Fifi, Tammy, and dear Daniel all blushed and smiled. Tammy even thought of a new Friendship Club rule. Good friends are always there no matter how busy they are. It was perfect. They all high-fived. That was a great friendship rule, and they would always be there for each other no matter what. I thought that was it. Some more. The next morning, Mama and Hello Kitty and Minnie took the little cat family to the local vet. He checked the cat and kittens over and said that apart from being a little thin, they were all very healthy. Next, the vet ran a scanner over the back of the mother's neck. There was a loud bleep. She did have a microchip. The vet looked up the details from the microchip on the computer. The cat was apparently called Sooty, and she belonged to a lady who lived only a short car journey away. The vet phoned her straight away and smiled at Mama. As he waved her over to speak to the lady herself, it was obviously that she was absolutely delighted that Snooty had been found. The little cat had gone missing 2.5 months ago when the lady had moved into her new house. Mama hung up and told the lady she was going to come to their house to collect Sooty and her kittens right away. She would take them all back to her house and then try and find good homes for the kittens, so they'd better get back quick. Hello Kitty thanked the vet as they left, and when she got home, the first thing she did was phone the Friendship Club. They all came round as quickly as they could to wait with Hello Kitty and Minnie for the lady to arrive. It was warm that morning, so Sooty lay on the grass in the sun while the two kittens chased butterflies. They were very cute. One was black with 4 white paws and a white chest, and the other was white with black patch on her head. They charged around after each other and then rolled in a heap together before pouncing on some leaves on the grass. They were really adorable. Fifi sighed. It was going to be really hard to say goodbye to them and never see them again. Minnie thought that it was sad that they would go to different homes. It would be like her and Hello Kitty being separated. If only someone would give both the kittens a home together, she put in. Everyone nodded their heads in agreement. But who would want 2 kittens? Hello Kitty frowned. An idea started forming in her head, leaving the others outside. She went to find Muppa and had explained her idea. Mama listened and started to nod. Hopefully it could work. She could make a quick phone call. Hello Kitty waited anxiously, hoping from one leg to the other. As Mama dialed through the hall window, Hello Kitty saw a car pull into the driveway. A kind-looking lady got out and hurried towards the door with a cat carrier in her hands. It must be the lady here to collect Sooty and her kittens. Mama was talking on the phone now, so Hello Kitty raced to open the door herself. She said Hello Kitty smiled at the lady, who she could see was very eager to see Sooty. Hello Kitty took her straight through the garden, but all the time she kept her fingers crossed. The lady gasped as she walked outside and saw Sooty and her kittens. She called Sooty's name, and the little black cat looked around and gave a delighted meow. She jumped to her feet and trotted straight over to the owner, who knelt down to pat her. Sooty pushed her head against the delighted lady's shoulders and legs and purring very loudly indeed. Hello Kitty and her friends smiled at each other. It was very lovely to see the little cat back with her owner, who clearly loved her very much. The 2 kittens were still playing. Everyone looked at them, and the lady sighed as she patted Sooty. She wished she could keep them, but she already had 2 other cats as well as Sooty. 5 cats would just be too many for her. She told the Friendship Club that she would make sure they both went to good homes. Hello Kitty smiled and breathed that they might be able to help with that. Just as Mama White came out of the garden, she gave Hello Kitty a smile and a nod. Hello Kitty's heart leapt. Did that mean her idea had worked out? Mama introduced herself to the lady and explained that Hello Kitty had thought of an ideal home for the kittens. There was a lovely old lady who was very lonely because she had to give her dog rehomed. She couldn't have another dog because she wouldn't be able to walk it, but 2 kittens would be perfect. The Friendship Club all grasped, and Mama must mean dear Daniel's granny. Mama White smiled. Yes, they were right. She'd just spoken to dear Daniel's granny on the phone, and she had said she would love to give 2 kittens a home. Sooty's owner was thrilled, and the Friendship Club was so happy and cheered. Now the 2 kittens could stay together, and the Friendship Club could even visit them whenever they liked. Mama fetched cups of teas for her and the lady, and lemonade and cookies for everyone else. They had all sat in the garden in the sun, and Sooty curled up on the owner's lap. Purring contentedly, and the kittens carried on leaping about and playing in the grass. Minnie gave a happy sigh. Everything had worked out after all. There wasn't a ghost, and there wasn't a burglar, and now dear Daniel's granny wouldn't be lonely any more. Hello Kitty grinned, and Minnie was right. It was really perfect. The end.